the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
You bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent?
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
Did you know Zelensky is apparently running Ukraine with no elections? At least according to President I Totally Won 2020 Trump. Today we're counting how many false claims Trump can squeeze into one Truth Social rant. We're already at 7 and we're only 2 sentences in.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines.
He broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
Because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people.
If you're confused about what's actually happening in Ukraine versus what Trump is claiming, stick around. We're about to put Trump's alternative facts and Zelensky's actual leadership side by side, and the difference is more shocking than Trump's spray tan line. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influenced.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influenced.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
You know what's truly amazing? In a single Truth Social post, Trump crammed more lies than most individuals do in a lifetime. Shall we begin our Trump Whopper counter? Ding! Recently, our former president, you know, the one who said he had the best words, had a small outburst about Ukraine on Truth Social. And boy, did he give the fiction department his all. According to Trump, Zelensky talked the US into spending $350 billion on an unwinnable war, a very clever move for someone he refers to as a modestly successful comedian. Ding. Let's examine what is truly taking place here. Not only is Trump incorrect, but his error is so stunning that it merits a commemorative t-shirt and its own fireworks display. The $350 billion amount is the first item on the Trump fantasy tour.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can...
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this.
This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
you
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, 300...
That's a lot of zeros, don't you think? Since the start of the conflict, the US has actually given Ukraine more than $75 billion in aid. Ding. That's like saying your coffee cost $45 when it was just $10. For example, when we all witnessed those depressing tiny pockets of people, Trump claimed that his inauguration audience was the largest ever. Folks, a person who bankrupted casinos isn't exactly good at math. There's more, though. Additionally, according to Trump, Zelensky acknowledged that half the money we sent him is missing. Ding, which if true, would be quite a controversy. But you know what? Zelensky never made such a statement. Trump is known for inventing statements that no one has ever said. It would be like saying your neighbor confessed to being extraterrestrial when all they said was that they enjoyed Star Trek. Coming from someone who lost an election and is still unable to acknowledge it years later, the unwinnable war assertion is especially rich. In reality, Ukraine has regained a sizable portion of the land that Russia first took. In Trump's world, any conflict that cannot be resolved with a strange handshake and a romantic letter must be unwinnable. My personal favorite is when Trump accuses Zelensky of being a dictator and claims that he refuses to have elections. Ding. This utterly disregards the fact that Ukraine delayed elections because, well, they were invaded by Russia. It would be equivalent to berating someone for failing to mow their grass when their home is on fire. Sure, bombs are falling on your country, but what about your democratic processes, huh? This is particularly amusing coming from someone who attempted to rescind a defeat in an election. Let's talk projection. Trump would be displaying his own anxieties on every screen if he were a movie theater. What exactly is going on here then? By portraying Zelensky as dishonest and undeserving of assistance, Trump is laying the groundwork for his eventual withdrawal from Ukraine if elected, all the while claiming that he is the only person who can negotiate with Putin. By the word negotiate, it means give Putin whatever he wants while claiming it's the greatest deal ever made. The pattern is rather obvious. Trump fabricates absurd figures, quotes unspoken, and fails to acknowledge the fact that Ukraine is struggling to survive under a real dictator. And all the while accusing Zelensky of being Putin. It's like stroking a tiger and calling your neighbor's chihuahua dangerous. Trump was able to make 6 utterly untrue statements regarding Zelensky and Ukraine in a single Truth Social post. We are putting in extra hours at our Trump Whopper counter. Ding, ding, ding. Given their involvement with Trump's posts, fact-checkers now get hazard compensation. Not to mention the irony of Trump referring to anybody else as a comedian. The man who believed Finland was a part of Russia and proposed injecting bleach to treat COVID wants to give us a lesson in international politics? That would be equivalent to me advising Vogue magazine on fashion. The saddest thing is that real people are dying, real cities are being devastated, and a real democracy is fighting for its life while Trump portrays the conflict in Ukraine as if it were a plot from a reality TV show. However, Trump is too self-centered to comprehend that backing Ukraine is not only the correct thing to do, but also essential for both American interests and international security. Despite being aware that he was on the hit list of Russian assassins, Zelensky kept his ground in Kyiv when Ukraine needed a hero. The famous phrase, "I need ammunition, not a ride," ought to be featured on t-shirts all around the world. What was Trump doing in the meantime? Oh, calling Putin savvy and genius in passing while the Russian autocrat bombed civilians. Trump even said that Putin did a great job, and nothing says great job like launching an invasion without warning, isn't that right? Therefore, when Trump attempts to characterize Zelensky as merely a modestly successful comedian, keep in mind who the real target of the joke is. Trump's brand of humor involves promoting conspiracy theories that may be too much for even QAnon members to handle. Every moment Trump opens his mouth or picks up his phone, he is ruining the English language. Being a leader means confronting dictators, not applauding them. That memo went to Zelensky. Trump still believes it to be false information.